Junk to Funk 2025. 2 contestants, 1 judge. That's how the school mentorship program got started.
Involved with Junk to Funk for quite a few years, mostly as a judge, but also, kind of looking at other things of it. And I guess the thing that always struck me is that it's amazing the stuff that is created on the night and seeing all that creativity. But then to think, you know what, like if I could help someone to take those great ideas and turn it into something that could actually be, sellable, scalable, something that's more than just a one-off spectacular thing for the night. So this year I thought, okay, why don't I take some people and just see what we can do. My name is Bea Lorimer, and I have an upcycle brand called Waiheke Design, which started in 2009 and is based on Waiheke. I make pretty much everything myself. I collect excess clothing from op shops, so I'm working like 90% with things that are destined for the landfill. I think upcycling is really important because there is so much textile waste and it's just increasing more and more. I think, the quote is that there is enough clothing already in existence to clothe the next 6 generations. So we don't need to be buying any more. I just believe that we've got to work with the resources that we already have, utilize what we have. And so that's why what I do is so important to me.
Hi, I'm Rudy. I'm 19. I've been living on Waiheke for just over a year now, and I've been sewing since I was a kid, making costumes and doing all sorts of things with different unconventional materials. I've always loved upcycling, and for as long as I can remember it, to use different recycled materials and fabrics and stuff. I've done a course on costume design back in the UK, and I used entirely recycled and repurposed materials for my final project and for the costumes that I made for different productions. And always enjoyed using upcycled materials and repurposing things, giving them a new life. I think upcycling is really important because a lot of waste and pollution comes from the textile industry, especially fast fashion, like Shein, and also a lot of big brands like H&M and stuff produce a huge amount of textile waste, and textile waste has its own effects, like a lot of dye runs off into the sea, microplastics, and all sorts of things. It can be really, really harmful, the amount of waste that we produce from the textile industry, and from throwing away clothes when we don't need to, when we could just be repurposing the fabrics and turning them into something new and making cool stuff out of them. So I think it's really important environmentally, and also it's an interesting challenge using different materials and working with what you have with different scraps and stuff like that. So I think it's just all round thing that more people should be doing.
I'm Nina and I'm 16. Upcycling is really important to me, and my journey started through recycled fabrics and a gift that someone gave to me. I've learned that using recycled fabric is really important because most of the fabric that is used in the industry ends up in landfill, and I want to bring awareness to that. It's important for me to upcycle because we already have so many resources that have already been made, and we just keep making more. But if we use what we've already got, then we can reduce the amount that we're wasting. I learned so many things from doing this experience, and a few of them were very technical skills. Before I came into this, I was very messy and I didn't really finish anything, but Bea showed me how to make things more clean and to finish it properly. And I also learned how to put together a plan and make patterns with other people, because usually I work on my own, but when we were together we all had to think about what we were doing and how it would be cohesive with the whole project. I was also taught how to use my overlocker, which I'd been gifted earlier in the year but had been too scared to try and work it out. I brought it in one day and Bea was like, this is really easy, what are you doing, just do this. And I was like, oh, great. So yeah, good skills.
It was also good doing the mentorship, getting to work with Bea and like having her watch over and suggest a few different techniques, like if something wasn't working particularly well, being like, you could try this or come back and do something else, and also having access to more materials and free things from the Island Waste Collective here. It's been very good. And it was a good collaborative process. It was definitely really cool at the start when we had our big meeting and just brainstormed ideas and kind of bounced off each other about what things that we could do and where the individual strengths lay. And all in all, it was a very good process, very nice environment.
Doing this mentorship was pretty cool. I've been teaching sewing for quite a few years now, either individuals or groups, and have done a certain amount of brainstorming to create kind of, some different ideas. So a certain amount of upcycle consulting kind of. but this was very specifically working one-on-one and just helping them, come up with ideas, explore those ideas, figure out what would be the best materials to use in sourcing them, the whole design thing, and how to make it the most streamlined and cost and time effective production process. So that was amazing. I love doing that, and so that was kind of a combination of teaching, brainstorming, consulting on upcycling. Totally my dream kind of project. I really enjoyed it.
Product I designed were some recycled jackets. The original idea was to make dresses, but I thought that something more gender neutral might be a bit of a better idea. They are made out of old upholstery fabric and denim so that it comes together to make something sturdy and warm. I worked specifically with these materials because they're quite stiff and hard to use, and most people pick more light and airy fabrics to work with. These fabrics usually just end up lying around and they get used a lot. Like a lot of jeans came through and people just buy them and get rid of them, and they kind of just sit around, so there's quite a lot of fabric in a pair of jeans.
I chose to work with the cutout letters of old t-shirts that had printed slogans on them, mainly because there is a lot of them that end up in odd shops or in landfill because they don't sell, especially things with very specific causes on them or really niche things that most people aren't going to pick them up and buy them and wear them. So it's an interesting way to repurpose them and kind of make them look like, old newspaper cutout ransom letters. And I think that it was an interesting medium to work with. The material is very dependent on the different type of printing and the different type of t-shirt, but I think it has a good amount of range, and you've got a lot of random things that you can create something out of. Specifically with the branded sort of t-shirts, like they're often, no shade on branded t-shirts, but they're often a bit ugly and people don't really want to wear them after the fact. And if it's a really hyper-specific thing, most people, like getting a free t-shirt or a free hat. There's so many hats that have different branded logos and embroidery on them, but after the fact, a lot of people just don't wear them, so a lot of them will end up in the landfill, and it's an interesting way to kind of repurpose those and give them some use. You get some free swag, and it seems really cool, and you're really happy to get given a free t-shirt or something, so maybe look at it a couple of times and think, this might actually be really ugly and I'm never going to wear it again, and then you can save the hassle of something getting thrown out.
So next in the upcycling world for me, I guess, is just continuing to grow my market with Hickey Design. I don't produce like a ton of new stuff all the time, but perfecting and continuing to grow what I am doing, which is a lot of merino and denim, lots of denim. And yeah, I'd love to work on more sort of mentorship, upcycling consultant things. That's just really inspiring and exciting to be able to work with another upcycler and just get it to the next level and just help streamline their process. So if you know of someone, hit me up.
The plan for the future is probably starting a company or a brand that uses all recycled fabrics and nothing is brand new, because if I don't need to make anything or buy anything, then I can just use what I've already got and people can appreciate things that already exist.
Yeah, I'm going to be moving down to Wellington to study film production at uni, which is a bit of a diversion from upcycling, but I'm still going to continue doing a lot of sewing. I'm doing an elective fashion course and continue to make some different projects. And the World of Wearable Art is in Wellington, so I would love to one year work on something for that and get in that showcase. That would be the dream, but we will see what happens. It's very exciting.
So I just want to encourage everyone to keep being creative, to really be aware of the textile waste that's out there, all kinds of waste really, and just think about what you're buying, just our consumption habits.
Upcycling is really important, and I think everyone should be able to do it. It's not just for one person to do, it's for everyone. If you have old clothes or old sheets or anything, you can use that to make new things. You don't need to buy everything brand new. You can make your own things from scratch. You don't even need to use a patent. It's really easy and really simple. The whole mentorship started with a Junk to Funk, the wearable art / recycling fashion competition. It's really fun and it's a great experience, and you don't have to enter on your own. You can get like a group of friends together at school, you can do it with your teacher, and you can just enter something, and it's not really about the winning, it's really about putting something in and seeing what everyone else puts in. It's really amazing.
And you should start working on your Junk to Funk things now. It's very, very fun, and I can't recommend it enough. It's a great way to, let your creativity out, repurpose any old stuff you might have that you've been looking for an excuse to do something with. You know, there's a lot of different options, different categories, and yeah, it's great fun. It's very light-hearted and not too serious of a competition, so I recommend that people start upcycling, start making some more things.
Join us for the main event on the 9th of the 29th of August to see all the amazing creations and see who will get selected for the next round of mentorship with Bea.